Good afternoon, everyone. Josh here with Bees in the Weeds. Today, I plan on treating a couple of the hives, hive number 9 and 10, they're the hives located at the very end there, with some mite treatment. I'm going to use a product that's called Apiguard. It is a thymol-based treatment. That's the active ingredient. It says 25% for each package. I've never used Apiguard before. So I figured I'd take you guys along with me and we can learn together. Reading the instructions, basically there's one tray per hive that you put just above the brood chamber in the deep, and you place one tray in there for about 2 weeks, and then you come back and you place a second tray in, and then you remove it after 2 weeks. So a total of 4 weeks of treatment. And it's a gel that's inside here. And the way that this stuff works is the bees will immediately identify this as foreign, obviously. I don't know if you can see it here. It's just a small tray. And you peel this foil up and there's gel in here, and the bees will come in and they will try to remove this gel out of the hive because they don't want it in there. Well, in doing so, they spread the thymol throughout the entire colony. And there's also, I guess, some of it gets airborne. But it's heavier than air, so it actually falls and settles, which is why I'm going to be placing 2 of the IPM boards into these hives, even though it's 80 plus degrees out here. I think this product could be administered up to like 100, says what, 105 degrees or so. So we should be pretty good. And again, this is to try to take out the honeybee's mortal enemy, varroa mite. And in the past, I've used Apiguard, which is another form of treatment. And it had decent success. I'll go ahead and admit it on camera. I don't do mite washes. Not saying that I never will, I may. I just am a very busy person and I don't have a lot of time to spend all day in my hives. And I know that these hives have mites. I've seen them fall on the IPM board. You all, if you've watched my videos, you've seen me use the Laura Bees vaporizer, oxalic acid vaporizer. I've gotten a mite drop on the IPM board off that. So again, almost, I'm not going to say unanimously, but almost every hive has mites. It's a matter of how many mites. And a product like this or oxalic acid, the way that it actually kills the mite, unlike a pesticide, extremely rare that they would develop a resistance to it. So the overuse of this product, or the unnecessary use of this product, which is what you always hear beekeepers come back and say, oh, we should always do a mite wash and test if you really need it. Okay, technically, yes. And you should do one afterwards. The one afterwards is probably more important, so you can see if you actually got a good kill. But I just don't do it. I go ahead and just treat as if the colony has mites, and they have a level of mites that needs to be treated. And the worst case is I'm wasting my money, right? So I'm treating a hive that doesn't need to be treated, so be it. I'm willing to do that to save me some time, which I have very little of these days. So again, I thought it might be interesting for you guys to come along and we do this together for the first time. And any other beekeepers that happen to see this, if you see anything that I'm doing wrong or any tips, I'm all ears. So feel free to mention it in the comments. If you've used this treatment before, what you think about it. Initially, I plan on using, I only run single deep hive management, so I don't have any double deeps in my apiary. And I plan on using one tray per deep, and that's it. I'm not gonna come back 2 weeks from now and put a second tray in there. If I'm feeling super ambitious, I'll do a mite wash just to see what the count is like in the hive afterwards. But quite frankly, I'm going to be hitting all these hives with a round of oxalic acid as they start to go into the winter and start creating those winter bees, and the amount of brood in the hive really starts getting low. It's a good time to try to kill those phoretic mites with oxalic acid. So, some people don't treat for mites at all. I feel like this is better than nothing. I'm not a perfect beekeeper by any stretch of the imagination, but I think this ought to at least help knock down the level of mites that I have in the hive, and hopefully get these girls successfully through the winter time, all 10 of these hives. So the hives that still have honey supers on, I will not be treating yet. There's all sorts of products out there for mite treatment, and this is one of the ones that you cannot use when you have honey supers on the hives. So the only hives that I'm treating currently are going to be the 2 hives here at the far end that don't have any honey supers on. I have 2 other hives here that don't have any honey supers on, but I'm out of those spacers, and I'll show you the spacers that I'm going to use here in a minute, because you got to have enough space to put this on top of the frames. I only have 2 of those spacers, so my dad and I have to make a few more, 3 more, and then once I pull the rest of these supers off, I will treat the rest of these hives with the Apiguard as well. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get in the first hive, and y'all can come along with me and we'll see how this stuff works. All right, let's go ahead and get ready to treat these hives. Pretty warm out here today. That's a bad part about beekeeping, when you got to get out here in a suit and 90-degree weather, whatever it is out here. I don't know, it feels like 100. It's ridiculous. And this is the time of the year when the bees are extra grumpy. We're in a dearth right now, which for those of you who don't know means, you know, there's no nectar flow, flowers aren't blooming, there's not a lot of food or resources for the bees right now. So the foragers tend to hang around the hive a little more, and they're grumpy and they're mad and they don't have anything to do, and so they tend to pay more attention to the beekeeper, which is not good for us. But generally speaking, I mean, my bees have been, they haven't been too bad this year. I don't keep real hot hives or angry bees. My opinion, and every beekeeper has one, life's too short for that. I don't want to fuss with mad bees all the time that just want to sting the living crap out of you. I don't care if they're more prestigious honey producers. I get plenty of honey from these calm and gentle girls, and I just don't want to mess with real angry bees. I specifically breed and do splits in my apiary looking for calm genetics, calm on the comb, calm on the frames, not trying to sting me every 5 seconds. I frequently, off camera, I walk around this apiary in my t-shirt and shorts all the time, and I'm probably going to regret saying this, but I never get stung. I'll walk in front of them around the hive, and not a single one comes after me. Now, this time of year, it could be more likely, but you know, springtime, they don't pay me any attention. So, but opening up a hive and getting inside, they're gonna let me know that they don't really particularly like what I'm doing. So I generally go full suit this time of year, gloves, the whole 9 yards. Just like anybody, I don't enjoy getting stung. So, all right, we'll go ahead and start with this first one here. These girls a little bit of smoke. And the smoke does a couple things, you know. It masks any alarm pheromone that the bees may try to emit, which I'm told smells like bananas. I've never really personally smelled it myself. And the second thing it does is it tells these girls your home's on fire. And that means that they're no longer worried about you. Just like if your house was on fire, you'd try to grab your most prized possessions and get the heck out, right? They do the same thing. So they gorge themselves on the honey stores that they have in the hive, in their honey gut, preparing to abandon ship. And when a bee's gut is full of honey, it's also less likely to sting you. So it does a couple things. Masks the alarm pheromone, and really makes the bees pay less attention to you and focused on their house is on fire, we need to get everything and get out. So I was feeding both these hives, so I've got feeders on these hives, which is why there's empty super on them. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the feeder and remove the empty super. It may not be the best view on this hive, don't worry. We're gonna get into both of them, so you'll get a good view here in a minute. There's a little bit of sugar water in here. Not enough to really set off anything crazy. So I'll generally just kind of shake the girls down there towards the entrance. Get them out of there. And then I am going to cover this up because the rest of the bees will find this pretty quickly, and that could set off some sort of robbing, and I really don't want to do that. Generally, I crack the corner, give them a couple puffs of smoke, close it down, let them marinate and think about it for a second, and then I pop the top. And this, I'm looking for the queen right now. She is marked in this hive. Both of these colonies I split in anticipation of the courthouse queens. And I mean, this colony is packed. I'll bring you in here in a second and show you. And I love this queen. She is awesome. She does not mess around. She gets after it. Let me see if I can move the camera over a little bit for y'all. Get a little better view of what I'm doing here. And we'll reposition it for the other one. So there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seams of bees or so. And the colony numbers should start dwindling this time of year. No queen on that one, which I wouldn't suspect she would be. I've got a holder somewhere. Let me go grab that. That may help. I don't generally fuss with these too often, but every once in a while they're kind of handy. And you only have so many hands. And I'm going through this hive just because I haven't inspected them since I did the split. I just kind of want to see where their food stores are at, how the brood looks. If I spot the queen, great. If not, I don't care. But that's an empty frame also. Okay. They're not too angry with me yet, but I also haven't broken into the brood frame yet. Or the brood chamber, sorry. Oh yeah, they're coming at me here. They're not happy. All right, and I'm just gonna put this one back in. And when I say come at me, they're not yet actively trying to sting me, but I had a couple bees fly right at my face, which is a sign like, hey, you're not really welcome here. Could you please get out? Nice frame of brood there. Not the greatest pattern, but I don't know if that's because some have just emerged. Yeah, I see some hygienic behavior, which, you know, could be related to mites, so we might be treating at the right time here. And what I mean by hygienic behavior, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but there's some cells that have been opened with the larva in it. You see the white bald head of the bee there. That's hygienic behavior. The bees have detected something is wrong. Let's see if I can get this frame on camera where you can see that. So right, and I just kind of blew on him a little bit, get him out of the way. See in the middle there? Right there in the middle. See that where there's white? I'm trying to get it on camera here. It's right in the middle there. I don't know if you can see on the camera or not. Right there, see him? That right there. That's hygienic behavior. I may look at one or two more frames. I'm looking for maybe fresh eggs. Just want to see signs of the queen. I don't need to see the queen herself. Again, they don't really want me in here. Kind of light on food, which has me worried. Really need to keep feeding these girls. Okay, I see eggs on this frame. I don't necessarily see the queen yet, but see if I can't show you these eggs. So I don't know if you can see into those cells. They look like tiny little grains of rice in there, in the middle of the cells. Probably hard to see on the camera. They're definitely in there. Yep. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and seal this, or put these frames back in. I'm really done inspecting it. Again, I don't have to find the queen. I just found evidence of her. And they're not in too bad of a mood, but they're a little cranky, and they're definitely kind of running around on the comb. They're they're just kind of moody. And quite honestly, they're gonna need some more feed, but the other thing you can do, instead of looking at every frame, you can do what's called hefting. This hive's a little stuck. Get these frames back in and I'll show you. That's where you just lift the bottom of the hive to see what kind of weight it has. And if it's light, well, there's your answer. See how they're just kind of jittery on the comb there? They're just kind of cranky. They're not real calm. They're not really walking around with a purpose. You know, they're just, and I can hear them too. They're a little, you can hear like a little bit of a bee roar where they're just kind of agitated, like, you know, what are you doing here, dude? I think I got this overstuffed. Take some of that out for now. See if I can't pry this thing open. There we go. Okay. See, that's light. That's only about 10 or 15 pounds. So I can't feed while treating. I'll treat these girls, and then this fall I'm gonna feed them some more because they're just low on food stores. So let's go ahead and put the Apiguard on here. So first thing you got to do, if you've got screen bottom boards like I use, you want to put your IPM board in because you want the vapors from this thymol to stay in the hive. Then the instructions say that you just peel this foil back. There's a little bit of gel here on the, I'm gonna wipe that off. I don't want to waste any of it. Okay, just like so. Stinky stuff. Get the girls out of the way. And the middle of that brood chamber is right here in the middle of the hive. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick this gel side up. And they will immediately recognize that as foreign, duh. And I'm gonna put one of my shims on. Now these are shims that I made, my dad and I made. That's just, you know, 2 inches thick. Same dimensions as the Langstroth, and then I've got a front entrance for them. This time of year, especially not feeding them right now, they are not going to be inclined to build any comb up in this empty space. You know, if you were to do this in the middle of a flow or the springtime, you'd just be begging for a bunch of burr comb down in here and all this space. They would absolutely make a mess of it. But this time of year, when we're in a dearth and it's getting closer towards the end of the summer into the fall time period, and the population is getting less, they're not in wax building production mode right now. They're in let's get ready for the winter mode. We got what we got. The comb is what we got. We got plenty of it in here. The queen's got plenty of room to lay in here. So we're just gonna work with what we have. We're not gonna spend extra energy and resources building comb right now. We're gonna focus everything on trying to get some food and bring it back into the hive. So we're just gonna leave this in here like this. And we've still got several bees on the inner cover here. I'm gonna knock them off because they built a little bit of burr comb right here. This tends to make them a little angry, but I'm gonna go ahead and scrape that off because I don't really want that on the inner cover here. Scrape the edges. Sometimes they just build comb, you know, they don't, not that there's anything wrong with the spacing, because I don't know if you can tell, I got shims all around these inner covers, so there's enough space in between the frame and the inner cover so the bee can travel over top of the frame. Otherwise they will build burr comb all over And that's a mess. There'll be like a bunch of lines here in between each frame where they propolis, not burrcomb, sorry, propolis it. I keep saying burrcomb, I meant propolis. And, or brace comb, whatever. This stuff's sticky, it's propolis. And it just creates a mess. So you put these shims in here and it allows for the proper bee space. Beekeeping is all about proper bee space. And it makes your job a lot easier when you get it right. So they will start to come up in here and grab all this gel and kick it out of the hive. And in doing so, they will spread this all throughout and kill the mites. So that's what we're after here. I'll go ahead and seal this hive back up. And hive number 9, got my tag. Go ahead and put the cover back on. Okay. And my brick. All right. Let's switch gears to the other hive here. Bring it back over. Stuck, I tell you what. I'm hot. Dripping sweat here. Oops. Okay. Then I'll get these cleaned up back at the house. These little feeders. I like these little feeders. They're nice. They fit right on top of there. Work great. Everybody's got their own preferred feeder. Now I think this colony is smaller than the other one. Take some of this off. I don't know if that was propolis or what that was, if the bees somehow got on top of that or what. Trying to keep ants out and all sorts of stuff, you know. It's a never-ending battle for these poor girls with everything else that wants to get in their hive and get their honey. Pry them open a little bit. puffs of smoke. Let that marinade. Yeah, a little smaller hive. Looking for the queen, looking for the queen. Don't see her. I'm gonna go ahead and shake these girls off. So we got only 3 seams of bees here. She might have gotten a little later start on laying, or I might have put more brood in that one when I split them. But I know I got a good queen in here as long as nothing's happened to her. She should not be over here, but I always just check, you never know. I've been surprised before. And they're not drawn on this or anything. That's the thing, I mean, a lot of times with my hives, I don't even, you know, like frame 1 and 10 won't even be utilized that much. And again, bees like to build up instead of out. Now with the single deep management, if they're gonna run out of room, they will build out. I just don't see a whole lot of it. And they're roaring in here. They're not thrilled. And I definitely want to make sure I see signs of my queen in here. Whether I find her or eggs, open brood, closed brood. I just want to make sure this hive's doing okay. Especially since their numbers are smaller than the other one. I guarantee you they're low on resources also, which just worries me for the winter time. But again, I use those Vivaldi boards, so I can actually feed my bees all winter long. And I'll show you that video. I'll do a video on a Vivaldi board later this winter or fall. Yeah, see this, there's nothing on this frame. Now they've just started drawing some comb on this next one. This is a relatively small colony with only about 4 seams of bees here, 3 or 4. Okay, let's see what we got here now. Oh yeah. Eggs, young larvae, a couple days old. We've got some nectar in here, or probably the sugar water rather that I've been feeding them. I'll see if I can show you the young larva on the camera here. I don't see the queen on this frame, or I probably wouldn't walk it over. The lighting's probably terrible with the sun, but I don't know if you can see in those cells. And you can see the larva, the young larva in there. It's really kind of in the middle here. All right. Yeah, and I see a little bit of capped brood here in the middle, so that's a good sign. So I've already pretty much found signs of the queen with that young larva. I'd like to see some eggs here, if possible. And then I'll probably close this hive back up. They're irritated also. Part of the course this time of year. There's my queen, I found her already. She's right there. And this frame is beautiful. It's got larvae all over it. I see fresh eggs. So she's definitely doing her job. She's an older queen though. She's got a white dot on her, if you can see. And so I don't know. We'll be thinking about what we're gonna do with her next year for sure. There's a little bit of hygienic behavior here. I see 2 open cells, but that's really it. Nothing that really gives me great concern. And that queen's right there on the bottom of that frame, so I'm going to go ahead and stick her back in here. I just don't want anything to happen to her, especially this late in the season. Have a hard time replacing her with I'm getting mated. Okay. All right, girls, I'm done. Well, I'm done inspecting. There's just hardly any food in this hive, though. I mean, there's a little bit, but they're definitely light. So once we're done treating, we're gonna need to continue to feed this hive. I'll make sure I make a note of that. Oh. All right, easy enough. Let's go ahead and get our treatment here. You know, in hindsight now, I thought I remember reading where you're supposed to leave the lid on. I'm not sure. Any other beekeepers that watch this, if you want to sound off in the comments, do you leave this on or not? All right, and so the middle of this brood chamber is right there. Grab my spacer. Just like so. All right. Close these girls up. Okay, hive number 10. I got a couple bees buzzing me. Just letting me know they want me gone. Just taking out some ants here is all I'm doing. All right, let's put our lid on. And we're gonna call this a day. Oh, you don't want to forget to, again, put your IPM board in the bottom so those fumes stay. Or at least you have a better kill rate. All right, I think that's it. Well, thank you for coming along with me today for that Apiguard mite treatment. We will leave it in there for 2 weeks, and I will come back out here and check on it, and hopefully all the bees have carried most of the product out of the tray, and that way you know it's been dispersed throughout the colony, and hopefully kills a lot of those mites. So dead mites equals healthy bees. And I will be sure to bring you all back with me when I go back and check 2 weeks from now, just to see just how they're doing and check on the progress. And again, hopefully they've spread it around everywhere. So thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all in the next video.